Hello friends, Jenkins Dota here, bringing you another Dota 2 video / tutorial, and this is going to be a trick that allows you to see what level an enemy ability is, if it has an increasing range per level, or whether or not an enemy has actually spent a skill point on an ability. So I have three cases for you, just three random heroes that I could come up with, where this is a super imbalanced trick, knowing what level their abilities are and stuff like that. But there's a huge list of heroes that this works for. It's not just useful for these three. These are just the first ones that I could come up with. So essentially, every ability that's targetable on the ground or on a hero is going to have this rangefinder. And the rangefinder is this green circle that you see here. And little do people know that if you hover over an enemy ability that has a rangefinder, you're actually going to see their rangefinder for it, but only if the ability is actually skilled. And you're actually going to see the correct range on it depending on the skill level that they have in it. So without even seeing the enemy cast a spell, you can know whether or not they have it available, or whether or not it's level 2 or level 3 or whatever, if it actually increases in range, and you can see the difference in the rangefinder. So the first example that I can come up with is Naix. And it's actually very important against Naix in lane, because if you have a level 1 Naix and you hover over him and you see that he doesn't have open wounds, you know that he's either A, holding the point and he might kill you with open wounds, or B, he's skilled one of the other two abilities because he's either afraid or he wants to farm with Feast. So you can actually get some good information from just hovering over his ability and seeing that, okay, it's not skilled yet, or he spent his point on something else. Like, how am I going to change how I play based on that information? So if I go ahead and I spend the point on it, and I hover over it again, I can see that this green rangefinder appears even though he's an enemy hero. And then if I level him up again to level 3, and I level up open wounds to that level 2 point in open wounds, and I hover over him again, I can check out open wounds, and I can see that it has that increased range. And against Lifestealer, this is a really important piece of information to know, because if he's level 3 or 4, or even 5, and he has that second point in open wounds, you know that he's going to try to kill you, essentially. You know that the enemy team is looking to put pressure on you, because otherwise he would be going for the more defensive ability, or he'd be going for the farming ability. So it's really important information to know for this hero, and given that Lifestealer's actually picked quite a lot, this is pretty imbalanced. So I'm going to go ahead and make my second case here, which is, I think it's Obsidian. Yeah, okay, it worked. So if I level him up to level 9, people are doing a lot of different builds on OD right now. So people are either maxing Astral and farming, setting people up for stuns and skill shots and stuff like that, or they're going for that level 2 in Arcane Orb with the ultimate so that they can fight earlier, and just kind of a level 2 in Astral so that they at least have some way to potentially save people or set up, and it's not that bad. So it's hard to tell what build people are doing, but it's important information to know before actually fighting them and seeing what build they're doing. So if I go ahead and I level up the ultimate, and then I max out Essence Aura, because I think most people do that, and then I go for 2 points in Astral and 2 points in Arcane Orb, I can actually hover over Astral, and I can do the math, and I can calculate, since he's level 9, he's probably maxed out Essence Aura, I know that he's going to have that 2 points in Arcane Orb, which means he's looking to fight. So if I go ahead and I hit myself with the Arcane Orb, I can see that he indeed does have that level 2 in Arcane Orb, and I could tell that without actually having to fight the OD. I'm going to turn on all vision just so I can see everything. And the final and most useful case that I could come up with just on the fly here is Terrorblade. So Terrorblade is a hero who people do tons of different skill builds on him. I've seen some people max Reflection, I've seen some people max Meta, some people max Conjure Image, some people don't skill Sunder until like level 11 and 12 or whatever. But for the most part, people don't skill Sunder at level 6. But some people do, and that's what you have to look out for. So if I level him up to level 6, and I hover over him, and I hover over Sunder, and I can see that he does not have Sunder skill because I don't see the rangefinder appearing on it. But if I level it up and I check out Sunder again, I can see that he does have it skilled. So a lot of the time, Terrorblades might skill Sunder if they have over 200 mana and they think they might get ganked, or they can bait somebody into going on them and they're at like 30% HP. But sometimes Terrorblades are just greedy and they don't go for Sunder and they go for a farming build, and you can hover over and see if they don't have Sunder, and you can go and commit to a kill on them because you know they're not going to Sunder you. So this is actually a really important piece of information if you're an offlaner or a support trying to kill a Terrorblade in those early levels. So obviously there's tons of cases for this. These are just the first three that I could kind of think of where it's important in the current meta, but there's tons of heroes where this is important. So I hope this was useful to people. I hope this was at the very least interesting. Maybe it's a bug, maybe it'll get fixed, who knows, but it's really, really imbalanced and important to know in my opinion. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.